When I was standing here a week ago on the Saturday show, we were on a different political planet. Democrats were depressed, demoralized, and divided. Tonight, their new presidential candidate is giving them unity, energy, and most of all, hope. I'll be diving into where this is all headed with amazing guests ahead. But first, let's not forget how we got here. When you're walking through the Capitol, heading to its majestic rotunda, you will see one of my favorite portraits. It's of the late Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm of New York. I've been thinking of her as I've watched the Democratic Party coalesce with startling speed around Vice President Kamala Harris as its presidential nominee. You see, without barrier-breaking Chisholm, we might not have had barrier-breaking Harris. In 1968, Chisholm was the first black woman elected to Congress. Then, in 1972, Chisholm was the first black person ever to seek a major party nomination for President of the United States, and the first woman to do so in the Democratic Party. Chisholm didn't win the nomination, but her historic run expanded the American imagination for what was possible in its leaders. And today, we are on the precipice of watching the first black woman become what Shirley Chisholm sought to become 52 years ago, the Democratic nominee for president. Vice President Kamala Harris has already made history. She's the first woman elected to the office, the first black person elected to the office, the first black woman elected to the office, the first woman of South Asian descent elected to the office. And she made that history because of President Biden. He chose her to be his running mate, to be second in line to the presidency. And when he announced last Sunday that he was ending his re-election campaign, President Biden threw his support behind his vice president. His stepping aside was an extraordinary expression of humility, power, and patriotism. As he said of the presidency during his Oval Office address on Wednesday, "I revere this office, but I love my country more." Joe Biden is a good man, a great president. In the 2 times I've interviewed him, one thing was crystal clear. He loves the job. Not for the trappings of power, but for the responsibility it gave him to help the American people. Now, the torch has been passed to Vice President Kamala Harris, who told me the meaning of her first name when I interviewed her at George Washington University in 2019 upon release of her book, The Truths We Hold.
So it's a very traditional, classic Indian name, and it derives from Sanskrit, and it means the lotus flower. And it's very prevalent in a lot of Asian cultures. And the idea, the symbolism is that the lotus flower sits on water, but it never really gets wet. The water beads off of it. And so the idea being that one can be in the midst of chaos or be in the midst of something happening and be there and should be there, and it doesn't necessarily need to penetrate you, but one should be there. And equally important, its roots are in the mud, meaning it is grounded, and one must always know where they come from and can still be this thing.
Vice President Harris is a girl from Oakland who went to Howard University, became San Francisco DA, California Attorney General, and then a United States Senator. A 59-year-old former prosecutor now running against, as she described, Donald Trump in a statement this week, a 78-year-old criminal. It's that kind of fearlessness that has Democrats all over the country jumping in to help Vice President Kamala Harris become President Harris in November. In just 6 days, her campaign has raised more than $126 million, a number that is bound to climb higher after this weekend. One of the ways she's amassed this stockpile is through grassroots efforts. Thousands of regular people breaking Zoom daily in their enthusiasm to win with Kamala. Black men, South Asian women, South Asian men, white women, LGBTQ Americans, Latinas, everybody. There's even a white dudes for Harris call on Monday. This kind of enthusiasm can't be manufactured. It's organic, and it's only natural that it all started with the people who know her best and the people who have stiffened the spine of the Democratic Party since 2017, black women. Win with Black Women had been hosting weekly meetings since 2020. But mere hours after Biden dropped out of the race and tapped in Harris, the women convened a call. 44,000 of them showed up with a goal of raising $1 million. They raised more than $1.6 million. Black women have been defending democracy for generations, never more so than after the election of Donald Trump in 2016. Time and again, they thwarted Republicans and propelled Democrats to elective office by showing up and showing out at the ballot box. They're going to do it again this November, not only to help save democracy again, but also because one of their own, Vice President Kamala Harris, is on the ballot.